Hi, and welcome back to Botanic Designs. Well, a friend of mine had this very beautiful small glass jar and asked me if I can turn it into a terrarium. I said, of course, it's possible to turn it into terrarium. It's going to be a small terrarium, but it's a very nice one. And so I'm going to show you today how I'm going to make this terrarium. What do we need? First of all, we need this wired mesh. We need some tools. I'm going to use some bark for the background. And I'm going to use a selection of these plants. So I have the wired mesh, and that's what I'm going to use to make the false bottom. False bottom needs to be a little bit bigger. I'm going to use this. It's nice. I'm going to wash it. So when we have the jar, I'm going to take something like an inch, maybe an inch and a half for the false bottom. And then I'm going to place the wired mesh on that one. So open the jar. And this is almost what I need. It's like an inch. And a wired mesh. Put it inside. Maybe it's a little bit too big, so I'm going to take off a little bit. Like half an inch or a centimeter smaller. Let's see how this is working. And this is much better. So I'm going to make my own mix. First, I'm going to put some cocoa coir, cocoa fiber, 2 spoons. I'm going to put in some perlite. That should be enough. Don't need too much perlite. And this makes it like, in the end, something like 20–25%. I have some cocoa chips. A little bit. Just to make it a little bit airy. And so it holds some water. Mix it. And now I'm going to put in just a little bit sand. Just a little bit. I like to use active carbon, but I don't have that, and it's, in my eyes, it's too expensive. So I take some charcoal, make little chips from the charcoal and put that in. And it will do, in my eyes, it will do the same thing. And mix it. Of course, I have too much, but that's not a problem. You can keep it and use it for another terrarium or anything else that you'll like to make. And this is what it looks like in the end. So now I'm going to put my mix inside. I like to clean it in the middle of the job. And now I have the little piece of bark, and as you can see, it's too high, so I have to make some space. So what I'm going to do is to use, if there's a line over here and a line over here, so for the background I'm going to use the other side, and I'm going to have a look if it's going to close, and it's not closing, so I have to take off something from the bark. And this bark you can easily order from an internet site like AliExpress. And let's have a look if we have enough space now to close it. And we can close it, and you can see that we see the bark on the back side. Okay, I'm not able to take too many big things, so I think I'm going to use the ivy. Well, as you can see, it's too big, so I have to take off from the roots. I'm going to take off dirt. I'm going to stay only with the roots as much as possible, only with the roots. Has a very beautiful root system. And now I'm going to make a hole over here in order to place it. And of course, it needs to be big enough hole to put all the roots. And the nice thing of the UV is that you can change the shape. And now I want to take one of these little ones, of these polka dot plants. I'm going to take this one because it's reasonably small. And I'm taking off as much dirt as possible. Easier than it was before. And again, we're going to make a hole which is big enough to place all the roots of the polka dot plant in. And now I'm going to use a squeezer to hold it in place. While I am placing the dirt on the roots or the soil mix. And if possible, you can press a little bit using your fingers. I always have some moss, so also for the moss I'm going to make a little bit of a hole. And I have this piece of wood. I'm going to try to cut it. The nice thing is that you might see that the moss is already growing on the wood. And placing it over here. Give it a little bit of color. Some millstones. That's it. I don't want to put any more in it because it's already full. You can see the ivy over here. I'm going to try to place it in an angle, and then I think we're going to clean the glass. To clean the glass, I'm using a microfiber cloth. Maybe make it a little bit wet for the outside and the inside, just a little bit, and then and I'm going to fill up to the bottom part of the false bottom. Okay, so I finished making the little terrarium out of this little glass jar that I got from my friend, and I hope my friend is going to be happy with it. In the end, I only used two plants, one of the smaller polka dot plants and the ivy. The ferns I'm going to use in another project, and I hope to be able to upload that video very soon. And I hope you like watching this. If you like this video, please don't forget to press like, subscribe and the bell, and you will get an update every time I upload a new video. Hope to see you next time.